Welcome to the Everyman Commentary Podcast. I'm your host, August Mera, the founding editor of the Everyman, and I'm joined today by a special guest, Katya Sedgwick. As our editor Tony would say, Katya is one of the OG Everyman, well, every woman, writing for our site in the early days. She also happens to write for many other places, including Legal Insurrection, Acton, Chronicles, and The Federalist back in the day. She actually has a pretty interesting background. She grew up in Soviet Ukraine, then moved to Northern California, and earned her bachelor's and master's at UC Berkeley. She is also a practicing Jew and a firm supporter of Israel, which makes her a particular favorite among the Hamas supporters. I mention all this because Katya often has personal experience with many hot-button issues: the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine, along with all the progressive craziness in San Francisco and the Bay Area. And this is what I wanted to talk about with Katya today, since all these things are currently in the news. We will get her take on the war in Ukraine and Putin flaking on meeting with Trump. We'll talk about the precarious peace that's been struck in Israel and how things are going to play out there. And we'll see if it's really necessary to bring in the troops into San Francisco to make that iconic city iconic again. So, let's get started. Okay, Katya, well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what's going on in Ukraine anymore. It used to be a more popular topic. I'd keep up with it. And you'd have like Ramaswamy quizzing Nikki Haley about the states in Ukraine. And Trump was, boasting he could wrap up a peace deal in the first week, first day of his in office. But obviously, this hasn't been the case. The war has dragged on with little sign of stopping. Zelensky keeps asking for more weapons and money. Putin doesn't seem that interested in ending things. Even the EU, I'm thinking specifically of France, which I read about, they keep pushing for this war to continue, though this seems kind of untenable and they can't afford it. So you tell me, what's going on right now? And is Trump going to keep getting rebuffed, or will he wear Mr. Putin down with his enormous charm?
Well, I certainly hope, and I'm sure Trump hopes to bring peace to that region. Whether or not it's going to happen, Trump himself says that he talks to Putin personally and everything is going smoothly, and then he just doesn't do what Trump asks him to do. And that, I think, is kind of a classic Russian saying where Eastern European, where you listen and nod along and agree with everything, and then you go away and do your own thing. What I can say about it is that obviously it might be a smart strategy, but it's not exactly a show of strength.
What, for who? For Putin or for
For
Trump?
Putin, for Putin.
So if he
If you
comes to the
are
table and
speaking
makes a
from a position
deal,
of
he looks weak.
Yes, if you are speaking from a position of strength, but I mean, it's something that's going on between the two of them. If Putin was speaking from a position of strength, he wouldn't be doing this dance. So that's kind of, in a way, it's hopeful. I know that Trump thought that that would be the easiest conflict to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that it turned out to be the hardest. I think where he's getting that idea from is, well, the fact that in 2023, Putin and Zelensky were already, they already reached an agreement, and Putin withdrew his troops from northern Ukraine.
Yeah.
But then that's when Boris Johnson visited Zelensky in Kiev, and Zelensky went back on the agreement. So perhaps Trump thought that he will be able to bring the two together and reach something, but it looks like something that was a long time ago. That was more than a year ago, almost 2 years ago. So actually, more than 2 years ago. So Putin's goals might have changed.
Well, okay. Here's what I hear, and maybe you can say yes or no. The idea is that Putin is under pressure to consolidate the gains he made in Ukraine. So like just he can't come back to the Kremlin or whatever. He can't come back to his people and say, "Oh, well, I made a deal and we gave up some of this land we fought for." Like he needs to kind of produce something or else they're going to vote him out of office. I don't know how that works. I mean, is there pressure on Putin to kind of be difficult about this?
Um, well, I think Russian people, they don't particularly like the war, but
Okay.
they're resolved to see some kind of benefit coming out from that for that country. Um, on the other hand, with Ukraine too, there is a difficulty, and Trump was talking about it too. That he bringing the two together, one of them might agree to something, and then the other one seems to agree, and then he changes his mind. With Zelensky, I guess it's more of the way he sees it, most likely. He's afraid of hardcore nationalists who believe that he can get back Crimea and he can get back Donbass. And there is no way, like, no way Russia gives back Crimea because it's the warm water pores.
Hmm.
It's essential for to stay the big empire that they are, they need Crimea.
Well,
Um,
okay.
so,
So Russia's got to keep all these kind of these pieces of Ukraine. I mean,
mhm,
they can't give
yeah,
it up.
yeah.
And so here's my question. Okay. I'm not a fan of Volodymyr Zelensky. Um, I think he was a puppet kind of put in place.
Mhm.
Um, all he does is ask for money. He just seems to resolve to keep the war going because it keeps him in power. Um, and I mean, and the guy just seems, well, he's an actor. Okay. So he's pretty vain and all that. But I'm kind of curious, like, I don't know. Do we need a new person to work with in Ukraine to make this work? I mean, is Zelensky kind of the one being difficult? Is it? I mean, sometimes he seems to be cut out of the discussion. It's like Trump wants to meet with Putin one on one or something.
Um, if we need a new person, who would that person be?
You tell me. I don't
There's,
know. You're the
well,
expert,
there's
Katya.
Arestovich, for instance, and he's been on every side of of every issue in Ukraine. He started out as a nationalist, allied with Russian nationalists, then he became a hardcore Ukrainian nationalist. Now he's a moderate who wants peace, and he's trying to sell himself as somebody who the West can work with. I don't know if I trust him. Um,
Well, are they going to have
I
elections again, or is it just going to be like, because that's what happened, right? After the war, like there were
mhm,
no more elections in Ukraine.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
that seems to be a problem.
well, it's not a problem for Zelensky right now. So
Well, yeah, but it's a
um,
problem for peace and, kind of how we
yeah,
feel.
yeah.
Like we don't like this guy. I don't know, he seems like a parasite.
Well, we can do a coup. I mean, it's not like it's never been done before.
Can we
I
like
don't suggest that we do it,
recoup
and
our
I
coup?
think Trump probably doesn't want it. I don't think that's how it doesn't seem to be his thing at all.
Well,
So I guess he's trying to reach the peace, to reach some kind of peace between these two, and it's been a problem. Um,
I mean, what do you
and
think Trump should do to get the peace? I mean, it seems like Trump is trying to be very nice and polite to Putin. He's being very patient because Putin seems to express interest and then plays coy. I don't know. I mean, is Trump doing something wrong or does he just need to be patient?
well, I'm afraid what's going to happen. I mean, how do wars end in general? One side gets tired. How did World War One end? There was not a lot of troop movements. It was all about
They all got exhausted, right?
yeah, yeah, they all get exhausted. So
Well, isn't Russia
it's
and Ukraine
probably where it's
exhausted at
going
this
to
point? I
end.
don't know.
Um, Russia has more troops, and they can draw on their allies to send their troops there, like North Korea, whatever. That and they will send foreign troops to the front lines before they use their own, which is smart. Ukraine doesn't really. All they have is right now well, first there were Western volunteers, but very few of them, and they ran out of them. And now they would have to use some kind of NATO forces, and of course that's a problem. So Ukraine does look weaker, but
So is that what Putin's waiting for? It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna wait these out. They're probably gonna get tired. I'm gonna get the terms I want, and then I can call it a day. We won this thing.
that's probably what he's waiting for, yeah. Which
Oh,
is
okay.
why uh, initially he wanted some kind of agreement with Ukraine to end the war quickly, but now he's kind of dragging things out to see if Ukraine will basically fall down, and then he will pick up the pieces that he wants.
You know, Trump probably knows this too. I mean, he probably knows, okay, look, we're going to keep rattling our sabers and I'll try to get the deal I can get, but it's probably not going to end until like everything's been exhausted and finally we're just going to agree to some terms and not everybody's going to be happy. I mean,
He probably does, but it's also like he had great successes with diplomacy in the Middle East, but that was
well,
done, and
that was
it's kind
Jared
of,
Kushner. Okay. He's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
genius.
because he likes to rely on his family members whom he trusts. So I know that Melania is talking to Putin for what it's worth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, they're
Oh,
talking.
she speaks like 20 million languages. I'm assuming she speaks Russian too then, huh?
Um,
Is she Slovenian?
well, yeah, she's Slovenian. Yeah, I think
Okay.
they can probably understand each other, figure it out somehow. Yeah.
Well,
So, but I don't, I mean, Kushner is an expert in getting things done, and, you know, he's a businessman who made quite a few deals. Melania, I don't know, but then she's probably the kind of woman that Putin understands.
mhm. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a different culture. I mean, and it's a
Hmm.
different kind of situation, a different kind of conflict. So I imagine it requires a different skill set that maybe Melania has. I mean, here's the thing about the conflict, and I think you and I kind of agree on it. It's hard to take sides, okay? I mean, you just kind of want the warring to cease. You want people to
Hmm.
get back with their lives, and you want these places to just kind of flourish or have some kind of
Hmm.
stability. I mean, we're not pro Ukraine. I mean, and I think you probably got some
Yep.
pushback, I guess,
Hmm.
because you weren't
Hmm.
like all you didn't have the Ukraine next to your bio, the Ukrainian flag. And I mean,
Hmm.
and I wasn't on board with it. It was weird when it happened, when the war broke out and Russia invaded, and then everybody all of a sudden just kind of lockstep supported Ukraine, even though they
Yeah,
probably
and
couldn't
you
tell you
know
where it
what? I'm
was.
not. Yeah, I got a lot of pushback on that, and I grew up there. I know the place. I wish them all the best, but it's just the idea that there could be a war between Russia and Ukraine. Growing up in Eastern Ukraine,
Yeah.
that was unthinkable. That was just unthinkable because most people I knew were mixed Russian and Ukrainians. So yeah,
Well,
um,
you were in the Russian side of Ukraine. I mean,
yeah,
so
it's basically on the border with Russia.
yeah.
Um,
So is that
um,
like occupied by Russia now, the area that you come from?
no, no.
Okay, so it's
Um,
still technically Ukraine.
yeah, it's technically yeah, and although the city I'm from, Kharkov, it was one neighborhood was bombed pretty heavily um,
Hmm.
in the beginning of the war. And from time to time, they have bombings, but it's, I guess, if you know, they don't even go to bomb shelters in Ukraine because
Oh,
they
okay.
figure that, like, I guess it's a different attitude than you have in Israel, where everybody goes to bomb shelter. In Ukraine, they're more fatalist, and they figured that their personal um, chances of, of being killed pretty low.
You know, it's funny.
So,
I just read an article about Julius Evola, this kind of Italian tratty fascist. I don't know. He's
mm,
kind of an interesting thinker that's sometimes brought up. And apparently he was in Austria, or was it Austria? I think it was Austria, and he was just well, he was the Allies were bombing Vienna or some city that he was in, and he would just go out and dare them to kind of hit him, and finally, like he got hit with shrapnel and became paralyzed, and he had to use a wheelchair forever after that. And I just thought, huh. So, whereas everybody else was like hiding, in bomb shelters,
Hmm.
he would just kind of walk out. Yeah, look at me. And he paid the price. Okay, but I guess to complete my point, like, you know, we don't take sides here. I think we just want stability. Um, um,
Hmm. Yep.
and I
Yep.
think you can recognize, and I think I do too. I mean, I have family who are related, close family about this stuff, and yeah, Ukraine and Russia are, they're not too. There's a lot of shared history, we'll say.
Hmm.
And to see this kind of conflict between polar opposites, it's not the case at all. It's actually very confusing. And a lot of Russians have family in Ukraine. A lot of Ukrainians have family in Russia, and especially in the eastern part of Ukraine, it's like, well, there's a lot of mixing, and there's not like a clear defined like, oh, cultural difference between, Russia and
Yeah, and
Ukraine.
actually, there was if you remember when Tucker Carlson interviewed Vladimir Putin, he brought in some kind of volumes with documents showing that ancient, medieval Russia was
Yeah, there's a lot of
in
history,
Kiev,
centuries of
and like,
history.
yeah, and all of it is true, and but it was just so incomprehensible to an average viewer that uh, it became a meme. But it's all true, and it's also true that Cossacks, once Russia and Ukraine were integrated after the Bagdan Khmelnytsky rebellion, Cossacks very easily married Russian elites and became Russian elites.
Mhm.
Russia conquered many other regions afterwards, but there the elites were reluctant to mix with the imperial elites. So Ukraine was always different.
No, it was like
Um,
the cool place. Oh, because it's funny when you read Dostoevsky, or maybe it's Tolstoy. Well, both basically. I think they do
mhm.
mention like Odessa, or they mention like or Kiev or whatever, or Kiev. I don't know. How are you supposed to say it? You probably is it Kiev?
I don't. Okay, the Russian pronunciation is Kiev,
Okay.
and Ukrainian is Kiev. But the
Oh,
way it's a bit ridiculous, this change of spelling, because most English speakers don't get it from the Y
yeah.
letter that's supposed to be in the word right now.
So
They
Russians
just
say Kiev, and then Ukrainians say Kiev.
Kyiv.
Kiev.
Okay,
Okay.
forget it.
Well, okay. Well, maybe
It's
so.
not that important, and I mean it is, and it is I mean it is an English word, so to try to change it is a bit silly. It's like, so Moscow is not Moscow in Russian.
Oh, what do y'all call it?
Moskva.
Matzva. Oh, it's not close at all.
So it's it's an English word, and it is what it is, and
Well, okay.
it's
Well,
just
so it's
and
interesting
actually,
to. Hmm.
uh, well, one of my criticisms of Ukrainian nationalism is that it's just so focused on changing spelling and
Yeah.
trying to rewrite a Russian artist as a Ukrainian artist because he visited Ukraine at some point and stuff like that. That they're not really doing the hard part, which is nation building. um,
Yeah. It seems very
it's a
superficial.
corrupt country, and which is their main problem, which is why Germany doesn't want to have anything to do with them. It's too much, although it's a resource-rich country,
Hmm.
but corruption makes it impossible to do any kind of business there. So,
Yeah.
no. Mhm.
Well, okay. So what I wanted to say, I mean, you're right. Well, I actually liked your articles when it was talking about Ukrainian, well, this like Ukrainian identity and this
Mhm.
nationalist movement. They really trying to push it. Um, well, it reminded me. I mean, this is kind of a random reference, but of the Harlem Renaissance.
Hmm.
So they were really, a lot of it was a propaganda effort to unite the Black American community. So you would have Langston Hughes or these other guys, they were from all over the United States, right? And they would write in the style and about themes that were, you know, close to their identity and their region. I mean, their identity was based on where they came from, not necessarily from their race. And so when they came to Harlem or when they were contributing to some of these publications, the whole goal was to create like a lore, to create like, okay, this is the Black experience in America. And we need you to kind of reinforce some of these kind of values or themes to kind of really create like a fully three-dimensional kind of identity, even though these guys wanted to talk about Missouri or they want
Hmm.
well, and so, but the whole effort of these publications, so it wasn't really authentic. That's the irony of it. So you think this is authentic, this is really reflecting the Black experience. Like, well, actually, it's not. It's like this kind of
Hmm.
fabrication that we're putting
Yeah.
together on the spot. And we remember in history, oh, okay, this is when it, we don't know that now, but at the time, it's like, oh yeah, Langston, you got to make sure to include this. Don't write about this. We got to make sure we have some kind of alignment here.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's just kind of and it seems like they're trying to do the same with like Ukrainian history and
Yep.
Ukrainian
Yep.
identity. But okay,
And
okay,
Ukrainian identity and history are very complicated. Right now, the country is mostly Ukrainian with a large Russian-speaking minority. It used to be that Ukrainian cities were one-third Jewish. That was
okay,
in the late 19th, early 20th century. So that Ukraine is gone.
hmm,
So also a large Polish population, particularly in the west, and Lvov or Lviv, or whichever way you print Lemberg, um, which is a capital of Ukrainian nationalism right now. That was a city built by the Austrians for the Poles, and
okay,
it's a very Western city.
yeah.
If you look at like, and people visiting it right now say like, oh yeah, it's so different, it's like not like Eastern Ukraine.
Wait, which
Well,
city
it's
we're talking
not,
about again?
but
Is
it's
it?
not Ukrainian.
Well, wait, but it starts with an L, right? Which city are we talking about?
Lviv.
Yeah,
Lviv or Lvov in
yeah. I read an article
mhm.
in the American Conservative back when it was readable uh, about that city. It is that, yeah. There's a lot of history, as you say. Well,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
funny to me, like when we discuss this and understand this, to me, it's like, because a lot of people say, oh, the war was all really about Ukraine being part of NATO, and they try to make this analogy to Cuba during the, Cuban Missile Crisis during the Cold War. And to me, that seems again a little bit superficial. I say, well, I
Hmm.
think this goes deep, 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 deep.
Yep.
And I don't even know. I mean, it might not even be worth it to try to understand it or to take a side. I think we just
Yeah, it's a family dispute.
they go, well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it what it comes down
Mhm.
to, and we're not in this family. We're over here in
Yeah,
America.
yeah. Um, it's well, actually, Western Ukraine, arguably Catholic Western Ukraine, is a part of Western civilization. Putin doesn't want it, actually.
Oh,
Under
okay.
no scenario he wants it.
Wait, you're
Um,
telling me that Putin doesn't want to take over Europe? I thought Ukraine was like
uh,
the buffer that was holding
well,
back
I'm
Putin,
sure in some
Hitler.
kind of dream he would want to take over Europe. Stalin, actually, when World War II ended, he was disappointed, was only taking over half of Europe, only getting to Elba River. And that was an overstretch. I think Putin is more realistic about it and more defensive. So yes, he wants Donbass, and he absolutely needs Crimea. There is no way he's giving it up. He's
Yeah,
going to nuke Ukraine before he gives up Crimea. Um, no, seriously, it's
I
very
believe it.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I have a
Um,
question then. I mean, it looks like, slowly but surely we're going to get to a conclusion of this, and Russia's probably going to, Putin's going to get what he wants. I mean, and I think I don't think Americans. I mean, I know your favorite Dave Smith or somebody. Is it Dave Smith? Yeah, I think it's Dave Smith. Is gonna like raise a fuss about whatever, because he's an expert in foreign affairs. But I mean, I think most Americans just want to see the war end. I
Hmm.
don't think it doesn't seem to make too much of a difference, especially for us, whether it's technically part of Ukraine or part of Russia or whatever.
Yeah, I don't care what the border between Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's like nothing is going to change in my life, and I hope there will be peace. The only way it matters to me
Mm-hmm.
is that it's a part, well, some would say that we're in World War III right now. So what's going on in Middle East is connected to what's going on in Russia and what perhaps happened in Taiwan, although nobody is talking about it after Israel bombed Hezbollah. I guess that's when
Hmm.
people stop talking about it, the pager operation.
Yeah.
Um, but it's basically the same conflict, kind of slow moving world war.
Well, what gets me, and I guess what I get interested in is the prospect of, and I'll move on to my next question about Ukraine, and then we'll go to the Middle East.
Mhm.
But I'm just trying to think of the future, just the near future and the distant future. In the near future, it looks like Ukraine's going to hold out or however long they can, and then run out of money, run out of energy, and just whatever, kind of accept the terms. But what after that? It's like, can we do business with them? I mean, well, didn't Marco Rubio make some deal, and we have like rights to some mining operation, da 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 da. Or, I mean, are we going to do business with Russia? Are we going to do business with Ukraine?
Well,
Um,
Trump
yeah.
tried to do business with Russia in the 1990s. He wanted to build a Trump hotel there.
Oh,
And
okay.
the business climate was so corrupt that he couldn't figure out how to do it. So, yeah, it's one of the most corrupt areas. Well, definitely the most corrupt area in Europe. It's difficult. I don't think there's going to be a Trump Tower in Crimea.
Oh,
Um,
that
uh,
makes me sad, Katya.
it's a beautiful place, though. Lots of palaces. Like if you want to go on um, a Riviera type vacation and also visit palaces, Crimea is the place. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think I figure people would want to visit. Is just they don't want to get bombed or anything.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, okay. One last point. So, I mean, here's the thing I'm thinking about with Russia and Ukraine. I mean, both of them have. I mean, I think Ukraine is just shrinking into oblivion or just going to be absorbed by Russia. But Russia has an aging population. I mean,
Hmm.
demographically speaking, I mean, I mean, I assume they're going to face depopulation soon, if not already. I mean,
They're already facing it, and they're
okay.
facing the largest minority, the Chechens. So
Uh-huh.
Islam, it's the most Islamic country in Europe.
Because of the
Um,
Chechen contingent?
yeah, plus people from the south, from the Central Asia who were part of the Soviet Empire, moving to Moscow and other Russian cities. So there's that going on.
Yeah,
Um,
so I mean, is it just going to be like
mhm.
the rest of Europe then? It's just going to like slowly age and kind of be
I
overrun
think
by
it's more
just,
so than the rest of Europe. It's older. Russia is
yeah.
older. The birth rate is low. And there are more Muslims, and percentage-wise, there are more Muslims in Russia than in
But they're
any
not
Europe.
as friendly towards the Muslims as Western Europe. I mean, Putin, I don't know. I mean,
No, well, officially, he's trying to bring or like create some kind of conditions for every religion to exist.
oh,
The
okay.
population is not politically correct, to put it lightly.
So it's just
They
normal
don't.
Russians, they don't like the Muslims. Like,
Yes,
okay.
yes, and if you remember, there was a terrorist attack on a concert hall recently
Yeah.
in near Moscow, and they sent out some troops to hunt down the perpetrators, and they tortured the perpetrators, and that was something that they broadcasted to the rest of the world. And no, I guess
Huh.
they can do things like that. So I'm not advocating for torture, obviously,
No, no,
but
no. I
it's
mean,
just interesting that Russia does it and nobody really
well, that's
minds.
something you wouldn't see in France or Spain or,
Hmm.
the UK. I mean, they
Or
just,
Israel, or
yeah, or is, I mean, well, yeah. So, okay, let's move on to Israel. Speaking of which,
Hmm.
uh, okay, so I had the same question. Okay, well, hold on. Let me kind of get the setup here. So I have been following the war in Gaza. Well, when it was cool, and now then it kind of became more a lighter watch, a superficial kind of observation of what's going on there. I know Trump reached a peace deal, and everybody thought he
Hmm.
should get the Nobel Peace Prize and all that. I know he did this kind of, with a lot of Arab nations agreeing to it, and it was all done properly, and it looked pretty good. And it seemed to basically end the conflict on the condition of returning hostages and the corpses of hostages, and getting rid of Hamas. I don't think Hamas is allowed to lead or whatever. And that's about as much as I know. And apparently there was some fighting over the weekend. Hamas opened
Hmm.
fire and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, they
So,
came out of the tunnels and killed two soldiers.
yeah. So, okay. Well, and, Jared and Trump are like, okay, okay, okay. Well, let's keep this going. I mean,
Hmm.
what's going to happen? I mean, is this just kind of is this baked in or what? I mean, it looks like the peace deal is precarious, or is it going to go through?
Yeah, it was always meant to be precarious. I
Okay.
think it's a miracle that they got all the living hostages out. I didn't think it would happen, or at least not that quick.
Hmm.
And they didn't release, historically speaking, they didn't release that many prisoners, terrorist prisoners, from Israeli jails. Compared, for instance, to I don't remember right now off my head, but that prisoner exchange was, or not prisoner exchange. They got one hostage. Israel got one hostage, Gilad Shalit, and in exchange they released over 1,000 prisoners.
Israel did.
Was blood on their hands, over 1,000 terrorists from their jails. Um, so there are two lines of thoughts on what happened, was that uh, with the hostages.
Yeah.
One is that Kushner is a genius, and that he got Hamas to agree to something that nobody thought they would agree to, because it's their best card. The living hostages, like that's how they got Israel to it's okay. Um,
So
by
one thing is Jared is a genius. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the other?
So the other line of thought is that, well, it's because Israel attacked Hezbollah leadership in Qatar,
Hmm. Well,
which at
yeah,
first they
okay,
thought
everybody
that they
got
got
upset about
everyone,
that.
but then it turns out that they didn't. But I guess they don't feel so safe anymore.
Okay.
It could be a combination of two.
Hmm.
And obviously, we don't quite know what's going on there, um, behind the scenes. But yeah, I think it's probably a combination of two.
Well, I mean, but is it going to hold, or are we going to have little, cockroach Hamas people coming out of the woodwork and opening
Um,
fire and
well, I mean, yeah, they're refusing to disarm, which was Hamas is refusing to disarm, which was one of the things that they agreed to, and they're not releasing the bodies of deceased hostages.
hmm.
So right now, there were 20 living hostages, and they're freed right now, and 28 deceased. They returned about half of the bodies. Hamas claims that they don't know where the bodies are, and they're trying to find them. which is yeah, it's kind of hard to think of that. Um,
Well,
and
okay,
then
but
it's also
let's.
it's the leverage that they have, and they're not going to give up that leverage.
Well, is it
Um,
that much leverage? I mean, I understand they want, but these are bodies; they're dead, right?
well, they still need
Or are they living
dignified
hostages?
burial,
Well,
and
they, yeah, well,
in
I know
Jewish
they need a
religion, it's
burial and all that,
important
but I'm
to.
just saying. Well, here's what I'm wondering. Okay, so is Hamas going to stay in Palestine, or are they going to get rid of these guys?
Um, well, uh,
Well, I mean,
do I have a magic ball? I don't know.
well,
I can
okay,
tell you that Hamas will do their best. They'll give their all to stay in power, obviously, and they're still in Qatar. So
well, okay,
they
so they're
have
still getting
like
funded by
well,
Qatar.
also the thing is Israeli goals in this war were twofold. One is to release the hostages, and
Uh-huh.
two, and that's more important, to make sure that something like Simchat Torah massacre doesn't happen again.
Well, sure. Okay. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I
so
guess this gets me to my next point. And I mean, you can tell me if I'm right or not. I mean, here's the thing. Okay. Like, if history's any guide, okay, from what I've read about Israel, and, we support Israel, I support Israel, and I want this to work out, and I want Palestine to, like, I mean, I feel like they're getting brainwashed and they don't know what's going on. And so they protect these Hamas people and they're just terrorist parasites. And you really just kind of want, like, okay, I don't want any more conflict. I want these places to stabilize, grow, people be happy, children in the
mhm,
streets, all that stuff. But here's what happens. Palestinians start launching rockets or do a
mhm.
terrorist attack, like October 7th. Israel responds with overwhelming force, tries to, annihilate all the terrorists, all the people that were involved. Um, and then everybody gets upset with Israel because, like, oh, wait, no, that's too much. No, you can't do that. And then Israel's like, whatever, we'll do what we need to do. And then you get some kind of peace deal or ceasefire. And that keeps both sides quiet for a few years. Or, well, yeah, just not very long, maybe a decade. And then you have another October 7th. You have another rocket attack. You have another person coming out of a tunnel stabbing, an innocent. And Palestine stays, it's this open air prison. I mean, well, they're very
Well, I
undeveloped.
wouldn't call
I
it
don't
an
know what you
open air
do.
prison. But you know, what I disagree with in your description, you said that Israel response was overwhelming force.
Well, that's the
They
impression. I
rarely
think they do it
do.
with
They
necessary
they
force.
have
Sure.
overwhelming. Yeah, that's the impression that you get
Yeah,
from listening to the media.
that's right.
But they're not really. I mean, if they wanted to respond with overwhelming force, there would be no Gaza right now
Yeah.
because they have the capabilities.
Well, I believe some
What
Palestinian
Israel
sources told me that I think they killed like 8 million people in the last.
oh yeah, yeah, between zero and
I found this old photo from World
infinity,
War
yeah.
II. Yeah, I think that's Palestine. Yeah.
Mhm. But I think the big picture is what's going on in the region, and it used to be um, presumed that to have Arab-Israeli peace, you have to have some kind of two-state solution and a
Yeah.
Palestinian state and all of that. But what Kushner did, he proved everyone wrong, was Abraham Accords, right? And that held up despite the war. And actually, if anything, the war was the reaction to Abraham Accords. And now that it's over, it looks like Saudi Arabia will be joining, and it looks like Indonesia will be joining. So that's a huge deal. And that's the
Why?
idea
I
that
mean,
instead of forcing this two-state solution, we're going to force Arab-Israeli peace, and then somehow everything else will fall out.
but Palestine's going to stay separate from Israel, right? I mean,
Um,
yeah. What do you
um,
call Palestine? What do you call, like, Gaza? What do you call the?
Gaza is Gaza, and the what West Bank. It's obviously a new name. It's a region with thousands of years of history. Of course, like 10,000. I mean, not
I mean, yeah.
10,000,
Do
three
these just
thousand
stay their
years
own
years
little
ago. Nothing
self-contained?
was called West Bank.
Well, sure. Okay. So what
But so
happens to
it's
those
Judea and
places?
Samaria. But
Well,
say, like, if
okay,
you
and
call
that's
it
what I.
Judea, then how do you argue that it's not Jewish land?
Well, yeah, right. So do they
Hmm.
become part of Israel eventually, or what?
Well, you know what? In another generation, just due to natural demographic changes, majority of Judea and Samaria will be Jewish.
Okay.
So there are other ways to look for a solution to this problem. And one interesting idea is instead of creating a state which is not a natural for Arabic culture, it's kind of a foreign concept.
Yeah.
Um, they can do the quote unquote the Emirati model, where they would have like an emirate of Bethlehem or an emirate of Shem, or like all of the cities, they can become their own emirates
Okay.
or
How would
emirate
that
of
work though?
Ramallah.
So they have their own just kind of local tribe or whatever, local leader, and
Hmm. And
they
local
just kind of
control.
deal with
Hmm.
Israel and Egypt and the other neighbors, just kind of like on these terms, just kind of
Hmm.
individually,
Hmm.
instead of all just being like, oh, y'all are all under the Palestinian Authority, or you're all under, well, Hamas, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay. So are you telling me that we're not going to have a, what's it called, Gaza Lago?
Probably not. Well,
Oh,
what's going on there right now is that Israel still, it's phase one. Israel controls most of Gaza, like along the perimeter. Um, I don't think there are any Gazans there right now. They're talking about doing construction independently in these two areas, and
yeah,
starting with the Israeli control area where there is no Hamas.
yeah.
Um, so it's an interesting idea. I don't know if it will. So that would be kind of like North and South Korea or East and West Germany.
Oh, okay. Well,
Um, from the sound of it, it's kind of in general. I voted for Trump. I voted for him to lead. I'm a trust the plan girl, but I'm not sure if there is a plan or they're just trying out different things to see what works.
the
Um,
expression, Katya, is to trust the plan, but always chimp. So, it's like a Zen thing, right?
yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm with you, but let's try to move on to the last topic here because I love talking about California. So, this is the land of San Francisco, as Michael Schellenberger calls it in his
Hmm.
book. The land of Gavin Newsom, the land of Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris. Is London Breed still the mayor?
No,
Who's the mayor?
she was Daniel Laurie is a mayor. Is a mayor. He is like some kind of heir to Levi Strauss, a
Oh,
native
okay,
San
that's right. That's right. Okay.
Franciscan for many generations. Yeah.
Okay. And so, you wrote an article recently in Legal Insurrection about the possibility of the National Guard going in.
Hmm.
And I showed you that, like, Mike Solana and the Pirate Wire is actually, it's a pretty good publication.
Yep.
He's over in San Francisco and talks about that stuff. He was kind of like negative about it. You seem to be more for it. I mean, so yeah. Well, do we need to send a National Guard to San Francisco and clean it up, or what?
Well, the situation is developing, and it's
Okay.
before we started this podcast, I was listening to press conferences, Laurie's and Trump's. Apparently, there's going to be no National Guard, but Laurie will be cooperating with Pam Bondi
Mm.
to get all the drug dealers out. He's saying, Laurie is saying that San Francisco improved, crime is down, crime is at historic lows, which, I mean, it's kind of, it's true that it improved, and it's obvious to naked eye. It's better than during the COVID lockdowns when San Francisco had Chase Abudin as a district attorney. Chase is a son of Velvet Underground, and radical San Francisco Soros DA.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, he was recalled. He refused to,
Yeah.
he refused to convict criminals. Also, at the time, that was all during COVID lockdowns. Uh,
Well, in your
the
opinion,
city
Katya,
decided to space out, to socially distance homeless people, so they spread them out throughout the city, each with their own tent. It was
great idea.
hideous. So yeah, it's better now. It's definitely better now. um, Crime is down. They're talking about crime being at historic lows, but what they're not saying is that it's very different in San Francisco than it was like 50, 60 years ago, where the per capita crime, actually across countrywide, it was higher anyways. But San Francisco was a working class sports city. Right
Well,
now,
yeah, it's just a
yeah,
ritzy Silicon Valley
it's
city, or I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's very wealthy, although there are some enclaves or whatever, but it's mostly white and Asian. So it's a very comfortable city. We shouldn't have any crime
Well, yeah, I mean, do
with
y'all still
demographics
have
like that.
is stuff
Yeah,
still locked up at the stores? I mean, do they still allow
yeah,
shoplifting?
yeah, yeah. I'm not in San Francisco. I'm nearby, but I when I drive, I don't put my purse on the passenger seat because if I drive through Oakland, it's known that people would stop on red light and thieves would come, break through the window, and grab your purse. So that's the reality here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. um, Auckland actually removed some of the traffic lights because the homeless were still on copper wire.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah, so there's
I've heard of
things like
that.
that. As far as another thing about crime being down, they're saying like, oh, homicide at the record is at the record low. But if you reclassify drug overdose or drug poisoning
Yeah, they just
as like
changed the
homicide, then you
definitions
have
here.
2, 3 of them a day.
Hmm.
And there've been less of that too than we had in 2023. But we're still 2025 in January. That's when Laurie became the mayor. 2025 is on track to be on the same level as 2024.
Well, you know what's
So,
funny? Like, I think it probably affects San Francisco as much as any other place. So crime has gone down in these cities despite a lot of dysfunction and corruption at and part of the reason beyond just them redefining what constitutes a crime or a felony versus a misdemeanor or whatever is that the populations themselves are aging. So you
yep,
have
yep,
less young men,
hmm
and I mean, because young men are the ones committing these
hmm
crimes and
hmm
posing issues that now they're kind of old,
yep,
and so it's just it's they're aging out of the crime age, I guess.
hmm yep, yep.
So
So yeah, it looks good on paper, but it's really not a sign of a strong society.
yeah, okay. So I want to know, I guess this is my big question, and maybe we'll end on it. Is well, Gavin Newsom.
Yep, he's
uh,
running.
he's running for president.
Hmm
Um, well, who's going to be governor? Is Kamala? She ruled it out. I mean, what's the future of California look like? And is Gavin Newsom really going anywhere? To me, it just seems like a failure.
Well, he's been failing up all his life.
Yeah,
His big promise when he was elected the mayor of San Francisco was to end homelessness. So you can see how successful he's been. Um, um,
yeah. I mean, it's not
yeah,
successful at
I don't
all.
see things changing here quickly. I mean, people can get used to a lot of stuff. We can get accustomed and tolerate a lot. And it
Uh-huh.
just kind of, I mean, yeah, it's expensive and it's slightly creepy around here with all the homeless and drugs and all of that.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's not
but
going away. It's just like welcome to California. You just have homeless
mhm.
people and drug abusers everywhere. It's just It's part
But
of
the
the
weather is
culture.
great. The weather is great.
I know the weather's great, Katya.
Yeah,
Don't tease me. It's
the
terrible
only
here.
place better than San Francisco is San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
where my wife's from.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, well, so okay, I guess well that I guess we get a clarification on what you were saying. So it sounds like San Francisco is not like LA in the sense that they'll let Trump come in and deport some of these fentanyl dealers. There's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be like a
Mm-hmm.
fight going on, but maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to help or something. I don't know. Is that what it is, or?
Probably. I feel like they're trying to cut their losses, and they realize that they themselves don't really have the instruments to get rid of the drug dealers. Because what happens usually in San Francisco is that the cops arrest them, and then the judges release them.
Oh
And then
man.
it's, yeah, because the judicial branch here just doesn't, we need to elect new judges, and not just in San Francisco, but
Well, if you deport them, they can't do that, right?
yes, that's right. So I think they're pretty cool with Trump deporting the drug dealers. At least that's what it sounds like right now, because Pam Bondi said that she has an appointment with San Francisco mayor, so for next week. So I hope we will see things change, and we will see them change quickly. They all, by the way, live in Oakland. Um,
In Oakland.
yeah,
Okay.
and I heard a gossip. It's all developing right now. Somebody told me on Twitter X that there are raids in Oakland. I I have no idea if it's true. I was driving through Oakland today, and I saw lots of road work, which was a little strange for this
Hmm.
yeah, time of
Woodwork.
the year. Uh, what?
Woodwork? What?
Road work?
Road work. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
And so you heard that they're doing raids in Oakland.
Yeah, I don't, but it's hearsay at this point. But I mean, it's all developing today.
Hey man, I trust hearsay more than our news
Everything else is
sometimes.
hearsay, anyways. It's unfortunate.
Well, okay. On that happy note, I mean, I wish them the best, and I hope that's true. Let's call it a day. We've been
All right.
talking for a while, and this was good. So thank you again so much
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
on and
me.
talking with me,
Mhm.
Katya. And if, listeners, you should follow her on X. She's like a Twitter celebrity compared to me. Um,
Oh, come on.
but no, this was fun, and I really want to do it again. Please keep an eye out for Katya's writing at The Everyman, as well as all her other places. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in and supporting the show. Please make sure you subscribe to our Substack, everymancommentary.substack.com, and subscribe to this podcast and give us a 5-star review. Until next time, I wish everyone a great week. Go out and read some good books, decorate your house for Halloween, and get some candy for the trick or treaters. Don't be lame, and go in peace.